Welcome to Growing Up with Andor, a Star Wars story. It is October 8th, 2022, and let's get started. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Extra Star Wars podcast. We're covering that Disney Plus series that seems to be so popular these days, Andor. As the season gets along, it's like a crock pot. It's getting juicier and juicier, and you know it's going to be delicious every single week. We're going to dissect all of the things for you today. We've got episode 10 coming out to you tomorrow. We've got episodes 8 and 9 happening right now. You're probably coming from Rogue One Radio across the pond. We're part of the Red 5 network. We've got Mike here. We've got Sean here. Damien may join us a little bit later. The little one's a little sick in his house, so he's going to be popping in and out as much as he can. We're just going to kind of get started because it is 9:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast. Make sure you follow Extra Star Wars on YouTube, on Instagram, on the Twitter. Can we say Twitter these days? I don't even know. Twitter might be dying. And of course, Spotify. And don't forget to check out the Casa at Casa de Dupree. I think he passed 1,300 subscribers the other day, so he's really killing it. So this is how rebellions start, everybody, and welcome to the show. Mikey, you're recovering from our devastating loss. I don't want to even say it's a devastating loss in the World Series. I thought it was a wonderful playoff run. What say you about the Philadelphia Phillies?
It was absolutely. I don't want to be one of those. I'm just happy we're here, but it did hurt, especially being up 2-1 on the Astros. I thought they were going to win.
Yeah, they had the magic to do it, I think.
Yeah, I was still hurt, but not as hurt if they were the favorites.
Listen,
like if I was a Dodgers fan and every year, and I win over 100 games every year, and then I'm out in the NLDS every year, then I'm butthurt. But like to be, the Phillies would have been the worst, the team with the worst record to ever win the World Series.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, not that hurt.
Makes no sense. The baseball god says, you know what? You're not going to become a stat today, so that's not going to happen. We've already had so many statistics within the baseball realm, which I hate, by the way. The analytics of baseball actually ruined the World Series for me with shifting and whatever. But we hope you watched it, and if you did, good job. Welcome on into the chat, and welcome to Extra Star Wars. You may hear some background music. We're trying out a new feature on Restream, which has a little bit of loungy background music. If that gets a little annoying, just let me know in the chat, and I can always turn that down just a tad to make sure that our voices are heard. So, well, without further ado, we are going to get started because we are going to do another double episode, and we only have 40 shifts left, so we have to do this fast and furious. We are going to go onto our overall impressions. We'll get into our tops. We'll get into our bottoms, the minimum amount of bottoms. We'll do the noticemen. We'll talk about our one-sentence summaries. We'll skip predictions for episode 8 because we're going to go right into episode 9. And then we will do our OnlyFans segment at the end with a demonstration, I think. Mike said he's going to do some physicality stuff today, which is going to be really exciting. So make sure you stick around for that. Just a bit of news before we get started. Because of my psychosis and my OCD, I'm moving all of my gaming content to a separate YouTube channel to keep the extra techie stuff in the tech world and gaming stuff in the gaming world. So if you would like to follow, go on and find Extra Gaming Whenever, because that's my channel name. I just decided to call it Gaming Whenever because I can game whenever. We're dads. We don't get to play games too often. There was once upon a time, back in the day, Mike and I would play Squadrons. and we would have a good time. We may have to get back to that.
I'm so bad at squadrons.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun because we just talk shit on everybody, and that's very important to talk shit on everybody. Yes, the next channel will be Extra Midlife Crisis as soon as the third child is born, and I have to quit all of this stuff to be functional in life. But that's all right. We're going to just keep it going, and hopefully with the Gaming Whenever content, we can revive Red 5 Gaming and get some community nights going again, raising money for charity like Narkina 5, because I think they're going to need it.
And then
energy bill is pretty high.
When the new one arrives, I'm going to be taking over with Extra Pickles, where I just go around and taste pickles and give a thumbs up or thumbs down. They're quick, like 10-second videos. I just take a bite of a pickle and just go, or...
Everybody knows the rules. It's one bite, one suck, right? And that's just the way it is. So it's good stuff. I love that. All right. So we have... We're already off the rails. Episode 8 is called Narkina 5. I'm sure you've talked about it. We didn't talk about it last week because, I don't know, the World Series was on and, we were busy. I drank so many Bud Lights and Budweisers in the past 3 weeks. It was disgusting.
Dude, I gained 10 pounds throughout the Phillies playoffs.
I believe it. Just boozing it up, enjoying snacks,
and just eating garbage. Yeah,
horrible. Everything about it was horrible, and the end result was also horrible. So that's okay. So now we're paying for it, and that's okay. Let's go over our overall impressions for episode 8. Overall impressions for me, 50 minutes flies in this Imperial heavy episode. Overly positive for myself. I can't wait to talk about the chaos and the concepts that this episode brought. And after watching it 3 times, the first time a couple weeks ago, and then Sunday, Monday, man, I was catching all sorts of different interesting things in it, and I'm looking forward to getting to the noticemen so we can really dive into it. Your thoughts on episode 8?
I just was amazed by the pacing of it, where they never spent too much time on one storyline, but like every time they left that storyline, they made you wanting more. And like that was happening with every single storyline. Like they leave the prison. I'm like, no, I want more about the prison. But then they go to Dedra and the ISB, and I'm like, oh, I want more about that story too. The amount of time, like it was like perfect little like appetizers that just like hit the spot really quick. And then it was like at my wedding, when they're going around with all these delicious appetizers, and you're like, "Oh, I'm so full. I can't have any more." And then you're like, "Oh, they now have cheesesteak sliders. Okay,
of course I'm going to eat that. Oh my god, that's that's a great analogy, great comparison, as I would say to the children in the school system of Philadelphia. I would say, hey, I'm watching this and I'm going, man, there's a lot of information coming out, and then right when I'm like sucked into it, it switches, and I'm like, oh, when are we going to do that? And then it's just bouncing back and forth, and that's a great point. So yeah, the overall impressions obviously overly positive. I don't think there's been a stinker in the group so far. I would be hard pressed to find a stinker. We could find stinkers in Mando.
Yeah.
Right. We could find filler episodes where like, what the hell is the point with that? I think every single episode has been pretty on point. Maybe episode 2 was a filler, but I only watched those once, so I don't remember too much. That was a long day. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and watch that. But yeah, ever since 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no stinkers. Really, really good, compelling stuff, and I'm happy for Star Wars because we need a win in this category. Did you hear another person who was slated to direct a movie has dropped out of it? It was some black director, and he said it was like not from a lack of trying. They're There's no direction. They have no idea what they want to do. Right now, you know what's crazy? The DC movie universe has more direction than the Star Wars universe.
Is it there's no direction in the Star Wars world, or is it that the movies Kennedy wants a certain way and the directors are like pressed to not have any of their creative juices thrown into it?
Good point.
Because I feel like they have more creativity with the shows, which is why the shows are so good, minus Boba Fett. And the movies, it's more along the lines of Kennedy wants it a certain way.
Yeah.
And you're like, Rian Johnson has great movies. The Last Jedi sucked. But was it? I forgot my hat, bro.
Hold on. Wait a second. Wait a second.
I got in from my swim lessons, and I'm like, my hat's upstairs. I don't feel like getting my hat.
It's very important. If you're not watching if you're hearing the audio and you're not watching, head on over to YouTube. Extra Star Wars breaking news.
I have hair.
Does not have it. Breaking news. He has hair, and that's it's a whole vibe. This episode and the show. But with Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know what to say outside of, are you trying to recreate the magic from 1978? Because it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen again, and you just can't. But I'm down for a Mando movie. Let me tell you, a Disney Plus Mando movie with Ahsoka, with all the greatest hits. Bring it to me. I'll watch that. I'll even pay for it. I don't even care. Yeah. $19.99, easy dunk on that for sure. So anyways, welcome on in, everybody. We're about to move on to our what are we gonna do? I forget. How does this work? Our top threes of the episode, and we're gonna be mysterious about it like we were last time. I'm constantly losing pens, and I'm blaming my children for this.
Yeah.
I can't find anything on my desk. The stuff moves. I don't understand.
Oh, well, stuff always ends up on my desk somehow, and I don't put it there. I don't know how it gets there.
Interesting. Let us talk about our top 3 moments of the episode. Let me think about it. Ooh, we'll start with, ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw a big one at you. I hope everybody's ready. We're going to call it parallelism.
Ooh.
We're going to go with Flintstones. This pen stinks, doesn't write at all. In fact, I'm going to show you that it's writing nothing.
Yeah, I see nothing there.
Can't see anything on this thing. And the last one is going to be Facts of Life. Okay. Parallelism. I need a different pen. I have a spoon. Look, I have a spoon with eyes on it.
It's a good spoon.
But I don't have a pen on my desk. This is a terrible thing. Anywho's. Where is all my stuff? I feel unprepared for class tonight.
How dare you?
I know. I spent an hour in this chair. I don't have a pen. All right, whatever. We're gonna do it live.
Yep.
We're gonna do it live. It's fine. Okay.
All right. Try my three words.
3 words. Fire away.
All right. Savage. Togetherness.
Savage togetherness.
And uh-oh.
Ooh. Uh-oh. All right. So I got I found an expo marker.
That works. You won't be able to use it on the whiteboard again, but that works.
Yeah, well. What did I put? Facts of Life? That's
sure.
Okay. Extra Small Winkies doesn't have a pen. Well, Ro, back in your day when they used the chisel, you didn't need a pen. So that's great. So welcome to that dig and thank you for being here.
And that connect parallelism to Flintstones.
Correct. Let's start with the Flintstones. Obviously, Saul Guerrero was a wonderful part of the show.
Oh yeah.
And his crew was in a cave.
Yes.
And the Flintstones, one would argue, didn't live in a cave, but worked in a cave. And what I liked about it is, if you followed the Clone Wars and you watched Rogue One, it's interesting to see the Saul Guerrero in Rogue One with his breathing apparatus, and he just looks old, and he definitely, he dies in it by the PS. And then you see Saul Guerrero like when he's younger in the Clone Wars, and I'm trying to think, was he in Rebels? I don't remember, but he's such an interesting character who has like a full story arc across different mediums.
Yes.
And I was very intrigued. Well, first off, right off the bat, I didn't know where Luthen was going. Then I saw the Black X-Wing and what I think they call them 2 tubes or whatever it was. And I was like, yes. First off, they're getting great replay value on all of these prosthetic costumes. So that's cool. The big white animal alien thing, I don't know what the name is, I forget. But in the cave, and they're just chatting, and there's like 5 conversations going on at the same time, and it's not even like a super duper important conversation, but in the noticements, I wrote down a lot of different details from that conversation, which anytime there's a name mentioned, I'm like, I've never heard that name before. I'm gonna write the name down, like Anton Krieger or whatever.
Yeah, and
it was really cool to like see the negotiation, and then the Luthen digs, and like the face drop of "I'm gonna kill this guy" to "No sail today, Luthen," and he's like, and it's just like everything about that scene was so good. And Forrest Whitaker, does he age? I don't get it. Did they de-age him? I don't understand. What kind of witchcraft is this? What kind of budget are they working with? Because I haven't seen a replay of scenes where you may see like in Mon Mothma, there's a lot of scenes in like her embassy, I think she called it, like her home or whatever.
Yeah.
So they get to reuse that, and of course, now with the prison scenes, it's pretty easy to just reuse whatever. But like the Saw cave, like where are they getting caves? And it's just, the thing about it was just like unbelievable. So what did you think of Saul Guerrero in this episode, Mike?
So that leads into togetherness for me, where I love that scene because that's where you learn that there are all these other, like, you really get a clear picture of all these other rebel factions that want nothing to do with each other, except they have one thing in common in hating the Empire. Yeah. And it really shows how unorganized they all are, and how instead of like, they're all working for themselves against the Empire instead of working together against the Empire. And Luthen, I feel like, is trying to be the glue to it. To be like, yo, we should all be working together instead of like doing our own thing here. And it was a great scene of them going back and forth, especially when Luthen's like, I'm a coward. I'm afraid of what this Empire is going to do to the galaxy.
Yeah.
But it was a really clear view of how, there's a lot of different, factions around the galaxy.
He's like, I felt the spit like coming out of his mouth.
Yes.
When he's like, all of the factions lost. I am. His line is like, I have clarity of purpose. I'm the only one that has clarity of purpose. And the great line, which is, whatever our final version of success is, we can't make it real on our own. Which goes to your point of trying to work together. Anarchy is seductive.
Yes.
but you're living in a cave, so what are you doing? And I think that's where he dug at him, and he was like, yeah, well, we're out here. So it was a great lines. Again, not one breath wasted in this. And now I'm starting to think, like, did these rebellion factions exist prior to Luthen's attempt? Because it appears, according to the ISB, that this has been going on for quite a while, but they haven't really made noise. The network is up. The network is running. You can't stop it. Or was Luthen's idea was like, hey, we should do these things, start out small, and we'll try to come together later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know. It's a chicken or the egg argument with that. I don't know what happens with that. But it's super cool. It's super compelling, and it's a great origin story to the rebellion, baby. Like, what we see is it's kind of organized.
Yeah, everything's together. Everybody's working together. Yeah. Like, join the rebellion. Like, the rebellion's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, now, like, at this point, there was just, like, whispers of, like, rebellion. I'm a rebel.
Right.
Like, there's no official, like, capital R rebellion.
Correct. It's lower cases, and everybody has different letters in different languages. Yeah, no, that's really, really good. Really good. My others are deals with when you go to, like, the facts of life and parallelism, it deals with the factory. So the facility, the prison. Do you have anything else that's not factory related before I get into a long discussion on that?
I mean, both of them kind of have to do with prison.
Okay. So then, so one of the scenes that I liked, which deals with parallelism, is that we have, like, scenes of the facility and the factory happening, and, like, Andor's trying to figure it all out. And he's very Sponge-like, and he's sort of like, he's got taking it all in. He just got zapped. He's, like, mad about it, and then he just got zapped again, and, like, they're figuring out he's figuring out this whole factory living and the living conditions and building this stuff and whatever. And then when it would cut away, it would go to politics on Coruscant. And you get, like, this cool, what I would call parallelism of, like, high society making decisions and talking about Pord, right? The directive. Yeah. And then back to the factory where they're all pissed off that their sentences were double, tripled. And Melchi's like, doesn't matter, we're not getting out. It's irrelevant. Like, I don't know why you're even looking at the number. And, like, you're getting on this whole, like, conversation going between the prisoners. Andor just got there. Does he not know anything, or is he just playing dumb? Probably just playing dumb, because that's what he did with his other group on Aldhani. And just like you're seeing this high society of Coruscant, like, oh, you only compliment me when I need votes, and they're like, oh, the Emperor, he's just trying to keep us safe. And Mon's like, yeah, but what that cost? Like, what if you like run a red light? Are you gonna go to jail for that? Like, she's trying to,
for,
like,
6 years,
right? And then, like, it's just so interesting I was so enthralled to see it back and forth and going, oh my gosh, they're, like, commenting on each side, but it's all saying the same thing. It's unbelievable.
That's fair. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, with the factory, with the prison, like, I just got it gives you a clearer view of how absolutely ruthless the Empire was. Like, you watch the movies and you're like, oh, the Empire's they're the bad guys. We know that. But you get, like, true, like, behind the curtain of, like, stuff that they did. It wasn't just like, I'm going to close the door and you're going to hear about us torturing him. No, you know what? We have a weaponless prison with essentially slave labor with the tungstoid steel floor.
Tungstoid
steel floor that could just shock you at any moment if we see fit.
I have a question for the science teacher.
Yes.
Is tungstoid a real material, or is that a Star Wars term they made up?
I think that's a Star Wars term. There's tungsten.
That's it.
I don't know what tungstoid is. Like they're just doubling and tripling sentences for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to give you unlimited food because we want you well fed for our slave labor. But you know what? We're not going to put taste in it. You have to earn taste. You got, the hot floors where like, yeah, we'll keep you in your cell.
Yeah.
Like there will not be a gate on your cell. We'll just keep you there because the floor will literally kill you. Nuts. It is like you just get a clear picture of how ruthless they really were, and you never really like. I'm really enjoying the darkness of Star Wars right now.
Oh yeah,
like you don't get a lot of view onto the other side of the fence with Star Wars, and I'm really enjoying this view
for sure. And hello to Scarif, Luna, and Nicole in the chat. Thank you for being here. We have breaking news. Damien sent me his notes. So we can include Damien in on this show because he has sent me some notes here. And not to circle back, we're just going to circle back real fast from Factory Living to Saul Guerrero. So that was one of his tops as well. And he says he's a bit more tame than we saw in Rogue One, and shows you the hints of what's to come for his extremist views, in which at this point I think he does have, obviously they've said anarchy a few times. So, so Saul Guerrero was one of Damien's top. And then his commentary on the prison design. We've seen so much with the various intricate sets. Now we get all blinding white lights and walls with a hint of orange, and as bright as it is, it's bleak for the prisoners. And I totally agree with that sentiment as well. And I totally agree with what you were saying, Mike. One of the things that had me enthralled was like the conditions and protocols of the environment and how easy the prisoners fall into line on program, like that's Pavlov right there. Like you just know what that means. How much Andor changes in just 30 shifts, right?
Oh, and after 30 shifts, that number does not go down.
You know what? I replayed it. I replayed it. 8s and 5s in that format look stupid the same. There's a slight shift in the character because I was like, I didn't see it change, and I was like, how could you? It's always hard, like Groundhog's Day, right? When you have time on screen, because your brain's doing time normal, but on the speed, right? When 59 minutes to go 55 miles per hour, or an interesting movie where they had 17 minutes. We have just a few bits of fuel left, and then the rebels will be in our grasp. But there might be a movie like that that really used time poorly. One of my favorite parts of the Factory was the prisoner exchange when Andor's first getting there, and the Imperials are sort of talking to each other like they're normal. Like, where's him? Oh, there's tech support down, and the Wi-Fi went out. He needed to do tech support. He's like, no. Prisoners exchange is over tech. That's always a thing. And and then the guy's like, stop, move, no, now, list, stop, no, move now, stop, move, stop.
Yeah.
And it's like complete and utter chaos, but also controlled. Hands on your head, on program. That means hands on your head, feet forward, and it's just like. These are just normal people, and they're not. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's so crazy how much detail was in that scene and how uncomfortable it made me feel.
They need IT help too.
I mean, tech support.
Yeah.
It was cracking me up. I learned what even the Empire needs tech support. And the factory life. Would you like to hear my math?
I would love to hear your math.
Okay, so I put this out on Twitter. And again, this is after my third watch, and it dawned on me. And of course, it doesn't flirt with 9, but it does make a lot of sense with 9. Here's math. From the far shot, when the transport is going on in, it looks to me there's 7 factories, 7 facilities in the water. Okay, now Kino.
I think they said 7.
Yeah,
too.
Kino, Loy, great character. Actually, one of Damien's tops. Andy Serkis, Kino Loy. Awesome way to utilize a previously used actor in what is a way better role for Andy Serkis. Agree. Love that. Hard agree. And he lays out what is to be expected. Now, the first time you watch it, you're not paying attention. You're looking at all the stuff like Andor is, so he's not really doing that thing. 7 facilities, 7 floors each, 7 rooms per floor, 2 shifts. Mm-hmm. So you can assume 100 people per room, right? Mm-hmm. You with me? With me on that?
Yeah.
That's 34,300 prisoners.
As I was going to Narkina, I met a man with 7 wives. The 7 wives had 7 sacks. The 7 sacks had 7 cats. The 7 cats had 7 kittens. Kittens, cats, sacks, and wives. How many prisoners were on Narkina 5? Oh, shit! That worked perfectly!
That was great. That was great. What are they building? What are they building that needs
I have an idea.
35,000 indentured servants?
I have an idea, and I feel like we'd probably have the same idea of what they're building.
Okay. I'd like to hear your ideas.
Death Star.
That's what I think. Parts. Death Star. Parts. Yeah. Yeah. I hope so. I hope we get some kind of indication. Now, I haven't seen any Death Star, like, branding.
Yeah.
Like in Rogue One. Maybe that's not out yet. Maybe the branding, marketing has not made it just yet. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's incredible. I love the fact, I hate it and love it, and it's so scary and it's so crazy, and everything about it. Loved seeing Melshi, right? Loved seeing, again, we have a slew of characters, right?
Yeah.
Keith Kurgo, Cyril, Deidre, Yularen, Pentagaraz, Kino Loy, Mon, Perrin, Tay, Lida, Jembach, Olaf, Zal, Bix, Brasso, Marva, Vel, Cinta, Pack, Luthen, Clea, Saul. These all are people that have speaking roles, and I probably missed a few. Ham. I think that was the one I missed. He's one of the workers, right, on the table.
Yeah.
Tigo. It wasn't Tigo one or Taga.
Taga. Minshi. Did you say him?
Melshi.
Melshi, not Minshi.
Melshi, yeah. Which is so cool. So, anyways, all right.
Melshi.
Savage. Did you do Savage, or was that like combined? Like, was it Factory? There's like combined and stuff.
That was that. Yeah, I went into Savage when you.
Yeah, there was a good theory on Twitter, and Scarif just mentioned it. Is that on level 5 they're building something, and then it gets to level 2 and they're just disassembling it, and it gets sent right back down to level 5. Like, I don't think that's happening. Because the Empire is literally going to... They're going to use... they're efficient, right? They're in a very efficient system.
Oh, who's the great... Sisyphus? Is that the dude who rolls the ball up the hill? And it just keeps rolling back down?
Right. Exactly. Like, that's ridiculous.
That would be some savage...
that would be like prisoners of war stuff. Like, they captured the rebels, and this is what you're doing. And, we're going to... You're gonna, what is it? There's a wall, and you gotta empty this container of water and throw it over the wall, and it's going into someone else's container, and their job is to throw it back over to the wall, right? And it's just like stupid, ridiculousness. But yeah, no, it's there's a lot to talk, and I think there's going to be more for us to talk about in Noseman. So for me, my top 3s were the Saul Gerrera. We have the Factory as a whole. And then the parallelism between High Society Coruscant and PORD happening right in front of us in the prison system.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, it's 10:21. Let's keep on going.
I didn't do uh-oh.
Oh, I thought your uh-ohs was combined.
No, uh-oh was so it'll be a short one, don't worry.
No, it's okay.
This is the first time Cass actually looks nervous because he's not in control of the situation.
Good point.
And he can't talk his way out of this.
No, he does look frightened on the freighter.
Yes.
Getting there. Super frightened. Like, I don't know, has he ever been captured before? It doesn't seem like it to me.
I mean, they have his, like, with the puck, they have
I guess they have his likeness.
But, like, for anything he went away for, it was... This used to be a 6-month sentence. Now it's 6 years.
No, that's great. That's a great point because, we went from a super confident Cassian at Aldani. He just took over. No, I'm the pilot. I'm going to do this. To, whoa, I'm in a situation right now, which is clearly going to change, as we get into 9. But, yeah, this is well beyond... I don't think he ever expected the Empire to do what they're doing in this factory.
But you also see him he's casing the joint too.
Oh yeah, he's taking it all in, sponging it all in for sure. Absolutely. Well, I do not have many negatives here, but we should talk about a little bit of negatives in our list of grievances. Okie dokie smoky. We got our list of grievances, and welcome on into DB here. DB already has a list of grievances. I don't know why there's Tim in the chat, but that's a list of grievances.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's Denzo. He's done.
He's been dead.
Come on now. Pay attention. We're on episode 8 here, everybody. My first and only bottom is literally the interaction with Lita was horrible. I thought that scene was unnecessary, and I don't even remember it because it made me cringe. I was like, what is this? I think it was Mon and Tay, and they're drinking, and she's like, what are you drinking? And she's like, no.
When did you like the squigs?
Right. And then he's like, I'm a banker. This is the things I say. Or something like that. I don't know. But that whole scene was dumb. Like, I don't know. It made me feel icky and awkward on the inside, and I've purged it from my brain. Dame's bottoms. It felt long. I know we're living mostly with Andor, but the length of the prison scene seemed to drag. Goes against your overall impression. Interesting. Might be... Where am I? Whoop, that's episode 9. Might be intentional to give off the hopelessness and drawn-out sentence in prison. Well, that's nice. An interesting point, for sure. Unfortunately, Dame, because you're not here, we both disagree with you, and you can go touch grass.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to say. We thought it was great.
Go kick rocks, Dame.
Go lift weights, loser.
Yeah.
Anyway. What did you have any bottoms that stuck out to you?
No. I didn't. Which is surprising for me. Like... I see what you're saying about.
I just thought it was dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in an intense episode.
But I
don't know
understand
if it was supposed to be comedic relief.
I don't even think it was, but I understand why it happened because you can't have Mon and Tay just constantly talking business without like having to be like, oh, I should look out this window more. Like, if anything, that scene annoyed me more than. What's her name? Leda?
Fair. That's fair. Yeah. You know what? If we're connecting it like that, I do see your point there that you have to have a little bit of fakery.
Yes.
And maybe that was what it was. But like Lita, she's just an annoying teenager to me. Get out.
Yeah, they're annoying.
That's it. Get out. Get out. But you know what? For me, in 9, she had a good rebound as a character. So for me, I thought she was fine in 9. So that's just interesting. So. Wow, not a lot of list of grievances at all, and I love it about this episode. It's actually, this is incredible. This is unprecedented that we didn't find a lot of fault. And that is, you know what? Kudos to the showrunners, which means we get to point out some things that we found in the episode at this time in our notisements. I don't need anybody messing with our list of grievances in chat. We've been doing this for a long time. I made that word up. Pretty calm down.
No, I made up a list of grievances.
That's right. That's what I said. Pay attention. We're on to our our notisements, and the very first thing that I noticed, Mr. Mike, the title screen music is evolving.
Yes, it is.
Is evolving, and I would say that the episode 9 title music is the best version of it. It is it's cyberpunky, it's awesome, and it makes you feel like you're in a hurry. For sure.
Dude, throughout this whole series, like the music has been so, like, everything has been so anti what Star Wars usually is, and I'm digging all of it. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, definitely try to pay attention to the title screens. Go back and watch it. It's excellent. Everybody's favorite troop transport is here. Originating in the sequel trilogy and going all the way back prior to Rogue One, the troop transports from the sequel trilogy make an appearance. Cool. I'm just glad they didn't make a Lego out of it, because that would have just been cheap. I thought inside the troop transports, the magnetic handcuffs were really cool. Bang! You know, like, and you are just locked in. I thought that was really interesting. Mm-hmm. I sort of wrote my notisements down in the order of the episode, like how it's going down. So this could be a stream of consciousness just for a moment.
That's fine.
The interrogation room. It's interesting that the prison is stark white, and also the interrogation room that Cyril was in, also as white as they could be. It's got to be an intimidation factor. Maybe there's something with it that's intimidation. But as Dedra comes out of the room, it's dark, you know, and it's like this white room in a dark corridor, you know, with the double-sided mirror. I forget what it's called. But it's like such a stark contrast when it comes to interrogation, and I just thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. I thought the small moon across the planet that is completely covering your entire screen. Narkina 5 is obviously a water moon. The 5th moon of Narkina is my guess, right? The differences in size was outstanding, and I thought it was awesome to set a scene like Narkina 5 looks pretty large, and there's something larger behind it. What? Like, what's going on there? Like, we're not talking enough about that. Like, the locations, you know, we've been in several different locations, you know, for here, but for the first time, it doesn't feel forced to be in different locations. I feel like in the sequel trilogy, we were just at different places to be in different places.
Agreed.
But not for the purpose of the story.
Every place in Andor has a purpose to it. Yeah. It's not just going there just to go there.
Right. And we're going back, you know, to certain... I never thought we were going back on Ferrix.
Even in, like, Mando, like, they just went to a new planet to do something new.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Like, well, you know, like, what's the point? You know, it's like, let's make it a little bit... Fake it, if you can. Fake it.
Yeah.
I like the name Axis. I thought the name... Code name
that's a cool name.
It's a cool name. From an editing standpoint, the first time Andor and crew gets zapped, they like removed frames, right? Didn't they? It felt like it was jittery.
Yes.
More jittery than it should have been, right? And
like, I was looking at Diego Luna, and I'm like, people can't bend like that. Like,
you're right. But like, they filmed it, and like, it's like, it was probably like, but they like sped it up and removed frames to make it feel like he was like really being like moved. It was like pretty cool editing there.
Like you see in cartoons where they just like, shake.
And it's got the electric around them, and they're just skeletons. I mean,
like Marv in
yes,
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Correct.
Or was that the first one? I think it was the first one. Sorry.
It may have been the first one. Cyril is super desperate. He wants all the loving, and I thought, like, this is the time. This is how he's gonna get in, and Dedra just
no,
not interested in what you're saying. You were service of the Empire. Get out. And it's just like, whoa, man, this is nuts. This is absolutely crazy with how Dedra is handling. All right, I'll pause. Let's throw the pass to you. Catch it.
So mine it's not really noticements. It's more of a vibe check.
Okay.
I got a lot of vibes towards a lot of different movies and shows with this episode.
All right.
So first off, with the prison, I got Face Off vibes.
Okay. It's been a while since I saw Face Off.
Would I watch it? I will always watch Face Off. It's one of the best terrible movies ever. So Nick Cage's character goes to this like supermax prison that's in the
John
middle.
Travolta, right? Nick Cage and John Travolta.
Yeah.
John Travolta?
Yeah. So this was John Travolta in Nick Cage's body on this prison in like the middle of water, and instead of in Face Off, the prisoners had the boots where if anything went down, the boots would like essentially glue them to the spot and they couldn't move.
Okay.
Where in this, the prison guards had the boots to protect them from the tungstoid. Cyril gives me major American Beauty vibes. The dude who films the plastic bag. Have you ever seen American Beauty? Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening.
Currently looking it up. No. Not one bit. Annette Bening? Yeah, no, I haven't seen this movie.
Great movie, but Kevin Spacey could also go kick rocks. So this one guy who is in high school and is filming like a plastic bag saying it's the most beautiful thing in the world. They made fun of it on Not Another Teen Movie with Sexiest Man Alive, Chris Evans. So put that on your wee list, American Beauty.
It's got to go on the list, apparently, yes.
And then the prison and the fuel purity, like cubicle area, both gave me Severance vibes.
This is hard, man.
Dude, what? You can't just watch Star Wars.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Put another thing to put on your wee list.
Oh, well, that's not fair. It's premiered on Apple Plus. I don't even have the service.
It sounds like a you problem.
All right.
So the premise of Severance is you go down this elevator and your brain disconnects from the outside world. And you have no idea about your life outside. Ooh. But then when you go back up the elevator, you don't know anything that goes on inside your work life.
Whoa.
Great show. Definitely put that, get Apple Plus just for that and Ted Lasso.
We could have easily said just hit my chair. And the bullpen is like Boss Baby's bullpens.
I've never seen Boss Baby.
See, it's hard, huh? It's hard to be in the know when you don't watch the animated shows.
Yes, but I'm sorry, was Boss Baby critically acclaimed and nominated for everything?
Yes. Now you're gonna make me look up the reviews
for Boss Baby.
Correct. Where is it? Give it to me. Reviews.
bad.
53%. Perfect. It's my boy Alec Baldwin. Anyways, that's a good one. Okay.
Damien would understand.
You're missing Damien. This is perfect. This is you and Damien would be rolling right now. I could have gotten a coffee. It would have been great. But you know what? What I'm appreciating about what you're saying is you're picking up on all these connections.
Yes.
That are not certainly Star Wars Easter eggs. Mm-hmm. And that's a great thing. You know, because Star Wars can Star Wars itself sometimes and get too into the Star Wars Easter egg hunt. And there's certainly some cool stuff that, you know, that we see in Luthen's stuff, and that's great. But really, this is a standalone sort of show, and there's some inspiration around different pop culture-y movies that apparently I'm not popular enough to see.
And that's one big thing that I've been, like, real big on with this show is that, like, the Book of Boba Fett tried to, like, fan service everybody with every little Easter egg, I feel.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, remember this one random character from this thing? Aren't you happy we put it in there?
Right.
And this show has done none of that. The Easter eggs have been like, look at this cool thing in the background just for fun. Like Pixar Easter eggs, not like, oh, did you pick up on this one character from the 3rd episode of the 2nd season of Clone Wars? Yeah. No, I didn't.
Well, it almost took to this episode to really have our first couple of character Easter eggs in Melshi and Saw.
Yeah, which that's fine because they played a major role, and you knew, we knew Saw was coming in somewhere. We just didn't know when. Sure. Melshi was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I love it. And then I started thinking, like, as soon as I saw Melshi, I started thinking about their relationship in the future, and I'm like, oh man, they probably got really close.
What was he, a general or a lieutenant in Rogue One?
I think he was just one of those saboteurs. He was part of that. He was part of that crew at the end that would just volunteer. Like they volunteered with our girl Ursa. So yeah. So while you're looking that up, I thought it was interesting that we got some history of Perrin and Mon during that little party scene, and they've been together since 15 years old.
Gross.
No wonder they're miserable.
Gross.
The steam shower scene.
Ooh, I got major Holocaust vibes on that, and I did not like
Schindler's List brought me right to Schindler's List, and I was like, "Oh boy, this is nuts!" Literally.
Yeesh.
A lot of nuts. Melshi was a sergeant, DB said. Thank you, Melshi. Thank you, Melshi.
Same actor, Duncan Powell. That's a cool name.
Love you, Duncan. Good stuff. He's so great in this right now. He's just absolutely cynical about. Nicole agrees with the Holocaust vibes for sure. Now, we go back to Farrax, and we see... I literally just said, good to see scenes on Farrax. And, there's some Marva, and she's not feeling well, and Bix is handling it, and Brasso's handling it, and it's all kind of cool, and it's like, that's everything seems like shipshape here. And then we notice Vel and Cinta are there, and we get a little bit of a deep dive into their relationship. And Cinta's super duper into the rebellion, and Vel is a third thought. She's not even a second thought. She's like, it's surviving. I hate the Empire, the rebellion, Vel. Sleep.
Struggle will always come first.
It's great. That was such a deep scene between those two, and I thought that was great. Which, again, when I watch this back to back, the lines that Cinta says, Vel literally parrots the next episode to Mon, which I was like, oh, that's a really cool connection, which we'll get to in a little bit.
And you don't realize how bad of a burn Cinta puts on Vel until the next episode.
Yes, correct. Yeah, no, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's great. It's great writing. It's great pacing.
Phenomenal writing.
Yeah. 2 things I saw in Luthen's wares. I don't know if we mentioned the Gungan shield. Did we mention the Gungan shield on a previous episode? I don't think we did.
Maybe.
Definitely a Gungan shield in the background. And then one thing that I noticed on Twitter, which then I confirmed it while I was watching it, is that there's a Jedi Temple Guard mask in the back, which was very popular in Rebels. I think just Rebels, maybe Clone Wars too. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Kleya? Who is this lady?
I need to know more about her.
Need to know more about her. Is she the ringleader? But she's taking orders from Luthen. It's very confusing. There was a dumb theory out there. I'm not going to call it dumb because you may believe it. There was a theory out there that Kleya is Leia in disguise. Yeah, not into it. Not into it. And then we have some.
Well, here's the thing. So this, how old was Leia in A New Hope?
19?
19?
18, 19?
So that 19. Means Leia would be 12 in this?
Yeah, I don't think it's happening.
So Leia would be closer to her age in Obi-Wan than A New Hope.
Fair.
So yeah. Take your not you, but the royal you. Take your theory and go fly a kite.
Go fly with Mary Poppins. We get a pretty. We nearly finished this episode. You almost think there were several times where they could have ended this episode, and I'm like, oh, there's more. Okay, we're moving on to another scene. How about we just have prisoner suicide? Casually have prisoner suicide. In a Star Wars show. This is not a show I probably show Kate. She's probably not ready for this type of show. I was never showing her Avengers Endgame with Tony Stark dying. I'm like, I hope she's gets what's happening. And she's like, why is everybody sad? I go, good question. We'll talk about it when you're older. Guys, heroes sometimes have to sacrifice themselves. It's just the way it goes. But the prisoner suicide was pretty intense. I also kind of loved that they were like, we gotta smell him all night. And it's like, well,
and they're complaining.
This is not the first time then.
We're gonna lose tomorrow.
We're gonna be
Jesus.
Did he jump? Did he
and even Circus, Kino, what's his name? Kino?
Yeah, Kino. He's like, get back in your beds.
No, he says to Cass as soon as he goes to his bunk, you don't sleepwalk, do you?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point. He's like, well, we'll find out. Great stuff. A couple things to end. You're going back on Farrak's, the clanging. I knew it right away. I was like, oh, they're clanging. This is a problem.
Yes.
This is a problem. And I'm sure you knew it, and I knew it, and most people knew it. As soon as she got on that radio, bad news all day. They are monitoring surveillance at this point. That was a poor tactical decision by Bix. And I love that Kleya was like, we know that it's probably ISB. We got to shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Here's my question. So ISB was able to get the transmission from Ferrix, but they couldn't
intercepted it.
They couldn't track where it was going to.
It seems, I'm gonna take a guess, and I think this radio comm was established in Aldani, where both radios just can talk to the one radio.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe there's an encryption to it, because maybe those lights mean something, like the different lights and the green lights. I don't really know. And then obviously there's not even talking. It's more of like a Morse code.
Yeah.
It got out, but do they see the destination? Again, maybe they have a sniffer in the middle that they see that it was used, or maybe it's some kind of tower communication went off. I'm not really sure, but I'd say for me, it's believable that they wouldn't have seen a destination because it's old tech. Not exactly using the new stuff. That would be my guess.
That's fair.
Be my guess.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. A final thing that I noticed, obviously the Anto Krieger name. I figured I'd write that down because I thought that would maybe come back up, and it did in 9. And then just Dedra allowing Bix to see Pac. Is such a great move. Like, you're going to be interrogated, but we're not going to clean this up. Just let her see her. And he's like, and then she's like, get him out of here. It's a great act. What did you do? Why are you leaving him? Get him out of here, you know? And then Bix is like, what the hell is going on here? What am I about to get into? And yeah, that was about, like, that's all the noticeements I have. I mean, I thought there was a lot of good stuff. I do have some lines, but I'll throw it back to you, Mike, if you have any more movies that I didn't see.
I do not. No, just my vibe check is done.
Vibe check is done. So some of the lines that I thought really stuck out. I don't have a thing for lines, so these are just lines I noticed. One of my favorite ones from Dedra to Cyril. You have engaged the curiosity of the ISB. I love that line so much.
She is so good.
She's so good.
Like, I don't know if it's the accent.
It's the
that
accent.
makes her, like, because like I don't know if you could be that intense with like an American, just like a regular old accent. Like
you have engaged the curiosity of the ISB. Like, it doesn't work. You know, it's good accent. Another one from Dedra. Drill down, find Andor, and get a hunt started. It's exactly what I want to do. She
has some great lines in these 2 episodes.
Great lines. Melshi. Numbers don't matter. They'll let you out when they want you out. Good line. Yep. Cinta with the burn. Maybe I'm a rich girl struggling to run away from my family. That didn't catch the burn until the next episode, and then when I rewatch it, I was like, oh, sick burn, Cinta. Repression breeds rebellion.
Isn't it oppression?
Maybe.
Yes. What's repression?
I don't know. I'm typing this on my Surface. I'm going as fast as I can. Is it oppression?
It's oppression.
Yo, I don't need you to yell at me, all right? Here we go. Got it. All right. That's all the noticeements for me and the lines for me, which means we're firing up our 1-sentence summary. I have a song, so you have to go first.
All right. Mine is simple. I've heard of the floor is lava, but this is ridiculous.
Somebody put floor is lava in the chat. At night, we like to play the floor is hot lava. There it is. There it is. That's awesome. Thank you, DB, and thank you, Mike, for that. All right. So
just so I didn't see if I had this written down.
Yeah, these are written down. These are time-stamped. It's very important stuff. Yeah. All right. My 1-sentence summary in the key of sort of in the high frame. All the other imps with the pumped up kicks, they keep their guys in line with a little shock. All the other imps with the pumped up kicks, they like to shock their guys with a button. That's all I got.
Love it.
I thought about it when I was driving, and I was like, I gotta record myself because I'm gonna forget. And then I edited that down.
That actual song is not as upbeat as everyone thinks it is.
It's pretty upbeat. But it's the topic. The topic is not upbeat. The topic is not upbeat, but beats perfect, yeah.
Wheelie, would I listen to it? Foster the People, Torches album, top to bottom, fantastic.
Okay.
With Pumped Up Kicks might be the worst song on that album.
Interesting. That's curious because that's a single, right?
Yeah, that's what got like Foster the People known. Might be the worst song on the album. Judges? They agree.
Well, and the judges want your OnlyFans for episode 8. Here we go. Fire away.
Right. Swing away, Meryl. So I know there is a lot of hate for this character, but his name works well for the OnlyFans that I have for this week. Got that pussy purring.
Perrin is getting so much hate, but he's just another version of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. That's all he is. That's just all he is. He's just disgruntled. He's mad at the world. He's drinking weird animal liquids. Not going to repeat it on audio podcast, but if you catch the video, you know exactly what I just put up on screen. Thank you, DB, for that atrocious hashtag. And as we transition out of episode 8, stay tuned, because I just have to transition out for podcasting. But as always, this episode is brought to you by Red 5. Here you go.
This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
And coming up next is episode 9. If you liked episode 8, make sure you leave a comment, write a review, and do all the things that I'm going to tell you to do and then don't actually do. But episode 8 is brought to you by Mike and Sean of Extra SW. It is Narkina 5, recorded on November 8th. We'll see you next time across the pond for episode 9. I should pop a can for that. Thank you so much. All right. Just do a brief pause. My audio recording, and then I'm going to go, just to see it. Just to see the audio like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we're recording. We're an hour and 6 in. We're done episode 8. Thank you for sticking with us, everybody. Nicole DB, Luna Girl. I know we're getting late night into it, and we appreciate you being here one of these times. We will have a bigger audience. We'll start earlier, and we'll do that in 10 years. So just stay tuned for that. And it's going to be good stuff. Let's get started into episode 9. So let me just go backwards a little bit real quick. And we're going to do Welcome to Growing Up. I'm going to start over because that's going to be a hard edit to do if I do it like that.
No, it's not. You can do it.
I don't want to do it. I want to be very clear about how I'm going to edit this.
I believe in you.
Welcome to Growing Up with Andor, a Star Wars story. It is November 8th, 2022, and let's get started. Welcome back to the Extra Star Wars podcast. We're talking about Andor, a Star Wars story. And one of the jokes that we had early on was like, this is Growing Up, a Star Wars story. And it really is a show about like adult themes. More adult themes than you actually would thought, and not the porn kind, like at 4 Seasons Total Landscaping, but like adult themes that make you think, and good storytelling and wonderful conflicts that your brain has to go through. Lots of detail, and as the reviews start to roll in, we're excited to bring you the show as always as we go through our agenda. And make sure you follow Extra Star Wars. Make sure you follow podcasts over on the Red 5. Make sure you subscribe and follow and share and like and whatever. Do all the things. So you know the deal. If you've been sticking with me long enough, you know the deal. We're almost a year. Are we a year into Extra Star Wars just yet? Not yet. No, I've got plenty of time to change the name. It's going to be great. So we're back for episode 9. Interesting title choice, Mike. Nobody's listening.
I was just going to say I wasn't listening to anything you were saying.
Nobody is listening with an exclamation point, and it got me thinking, has there ever been a movie title or TV show title with an exclamation point or just a punctuation in general?
I'm sure there has been.
Don't see you naming any, so I'm going to say probably not. No, I don't know. If you know in the chat if there's been titles of anything with exclamation points or any kind of punctuation, let me know. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi? The Last Jedi? Question mark? Maybe. Put that a question mark. We don't know.
A New Hope?
A New Hope?
Solo!
Attack of the Clones? Anyways. So we got episode 9. Nobody's listening. Here is my overall impression for it. I am way too invested in this story that has a set ending. Way too invested. I love this show so much. In fact, it's probably time to put it higher than Mando.
Ooh.
It's probably time. It's been, I've been going back and forth on it.
Hot take.
I really love Mando, but Ro has really rubbed me off the wrong way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Where Mando is a Star Wars story for kids, and there's cool things for adults. The Grogu stuff is literally for kids, and Mando's for the adults. And then there's lots of fan service. The story is good most times, but we've discussed in the last episode, we really haven't had a stinker episode just yet. A letdown. There's no letdowns. Every once in a while, I got a letdown episode on Mando. The volume is sort of getting cheapy looking on Mando. Maybe, the weird 2 episodes in Book of Boba Fett Mando. That's weird. There's interesting stuff that's happening with Mando. Does Andor set the precedent? Will we get a better production on Mando because of Andor? I hope so. I love Mando. I love that Mandalorian and Grogu are walking around Disneyland. Doesn't make any sense for me canonically. Why would they be in Batuu at the same time?
Why not?
As Chewbacca. Tell me why.
Because isn't Chewbacca like 900 years old?
Yeah, I mean, he's old, but I'm just saying. Chewbacca's usually running around with Rey, and it's before the Rise of Skywalker. That's the Batuu storyline. You know what I mean? Do you know? Let me explain it again. Anyways.
Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening to us. Somebody, there's a, that's
the name of our next podcast.
It's
Nobody's
true.
Listening.
So, let me go back. Hold on. Let me go back a few in my Twitter notifications just for a moment, because somebody put. Hold on. Here we go. Star Wars podcasters checking their stream numbers, and it's Andor that says, "You think they care what we say? Nobody's listening. Nobody." And I put this. I retweeted it and said, "This is true." And then a new pod, I think it's a new pod, they literally joined September 2022, called Across the Stars Podcast, retweeted my tweet and was like, "I feel this, and we haven't even released our first episode yet." And now they've made the vital error of inviting me on their show with Ro tomorrow night, talking about Tales of the Jedi, and they're not ready.
Tales of the Jedi was so good.
They're not ready. I thought the first episode stunk, but that's okay. We'll talk about it.
First episode was meh.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't need another episode about an animal.
I love the all the Dooku stuff though.
Oh,
Dooku stuff was phenomenal.
Unbelievable. It tells such a better story of his motivations in the prequel trilogy. It's unbelievable. Really good stuff. Mm-hmm. But nobody's listening to that because we're here to talk about Andor, episode 9. Overall impression, Mike, fire away.
Similar overall impression to the previous episode. Like, I thought just the pacing was amazing. It really, and you said this, that like Andor is the show for adults, and it really is. It has that Game of Thrones feel to it, where there's so much going on in so many different places, but it's all kind of interweaving and connecting. Like, they don't spend, I mean, it's only what like with credits and everything, probably like 46-minute episode.
Yeah.
But they're not spending too much time on one storyline, but you're still left satisfied and interested in pretty much every story.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, this is a great continuation story. And I watched a little Diego Luna thingamabop today on the tweeter. And, he not that he confirmed it, but it was kind of nice to hear the repeat of how the timeline is working. And season 1 is a year.
Mm-hmm.
1 year. And then, season 2 is going to be fragmented into 4 subgroups to fill out the rest.
Which I would kind of want it to be like they only went back 5 years before the events of Rogue One, right?
Yeah, it's curious, right?
So
kinda. I mean, we got some flashbacks to him being a kid.
Do we want I kind of want Breaking Bad? Give me 5 seasons of
so cool. Yeah,
give me 1 year.
Do it? Could they do it? I don't know. That'd be a lot of fleshing out, But I was we talked about if there would have been a time jump. I think one of our predictions was it would be a time jump in episode 8. It was kind of a mini time jump. The 30 shift mini time jump was in episode 8. So now I was again, I sort of asked myself the same question. How far ahead are we now in time jumping? And months, I think the word was in this episode. I think there is one particular line. Oh, I know why. It's who says months? Look back months ago. Yeah, Edie. Cyril's mom basically gives us the timeline. Hey, you've been here for months. So it's all right, cool. We can kind of go from where he's at to starting the job to where he is at. It's been months, 2-3 months or whatever. So that means Andor's been in there for enough time for him to take in some information. So we've got a great episode for you up ahead. Let's pop in to our top 3 moments of the episode right now. Okay. My first word/phrase for my top 3 is sad boy. My second one is it Rihanna that sings Please Don't Stop the Music?
Yes.
That's a great pull for me, and I need you to appreciate that.
Well, I mean, it's not like you're confusing Zoe Saldana and Rosario Dawson.
Right, we don't need to bring that back up.
I will continue to bring that up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do 2. Because the other ones are kind of like mini ones, but these are the 2 big ones that I thought. Sad boy and Please Don't Stop the Music.
Yeah. All right. I have again.
Ooh.
I have face. And then I have boss bitch.
That's fair enough. I like it. All right, well, you have 3. I have 2. Why don't you start us off with your choice?
I'm going to go with face to start off.
Face has been selected. Everybody, bingo cards.
And this has to do with Kino's face turn. His character arc in this episode was amazing to me. To the point where he has 200 some odd shifts left.
249 as of last episode, but probably less now, right?
Yeah. So I think in this episode he said 241. So maybe there wasn't that much of a time jump.
Yeah.
Or there was, and just they didn't take shifts off that many times. So the fact that you could see the inner turmoil in Kino's character, and Serkis does such a great job. He's a great actor. Where it starts off with Cass asking him, how many guards are on each floor.
Yeah, he's probing. He's probing for information, yeah.
And that conversation they have when it's the same conversation when they're just sitting and he's like, you best keep your mouth shut or whatever he says. Then they start to hear the rumors about what goes down on level 2. And you see him visibly shook when he punches Melshi, right?
Yeah, Melshi's what's he say? Oh, I might have it. He says something along, they set them all free. They set them all free. That's what he says.
Yes, they set them all free. And then you see him have that like, oh shit, I may never get out of here. And then Andor says to him, less they think we know, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like puts everybody in line, but you can still see that he's like, what is happening right now? Like, I have 240 something shifts left. Am I going to get out of here?
Yeah.
To the point where they have to kill Olaf with 40 shifts left because he has the stroke. And he's like, what happened on 2? And then they finally find out what happened on 2. And it was a huge mistake, and he knows he's not getting out now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just says that cast to end the episode, but it was just great, like never any more than 12 on each level.
Never more than 12. Yep.
His complete turnaround and his arc in this one episode.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
So that was one of my mini ones. I just put Andy Serkis acting is unreal.
I almost dropped the microphone.
Acting, well, that was a wonderful way.
Not in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just literally almost dropped it.
Yeah, no. Kino was a great part of this episode. I sort of like had the feeling that was gonna happen. Like Kino was just gonna give in, but I didn't know it was gonna take tragedy to make that happen. And it was just like, this is just another layer of the show of just like, whoa, this is nuts. Which will go to my sad boy, which is Olaf, right? So first off, what is Olaf? He's the seller on Xandar or something like that in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Broker.
The broker, right? And his acting in this particular episode from start to finish was incredible.
Yeah.
Because he literally had a stroke in front of us, and then like he rallied, but he's also forgetful. And like even the guys around him were like, Olaf, we just said that. And he's like, what are you guys talking about? We got to get to work. And then, to the final moment. So I have like Olaf succumbing to his stroke, maybe the saddest Star Wars ever. Like this is sad Star Wars moments. Doctor won't do anything to save him. The Doctor knows something about level 2. We find out a prisoner was released, then replaced on the floor by the same prisoner. The floor revolted, all killed. Another week like this, and you'll be begging for this.
Yeah.
Olaf, sad boy. I think Damien had some thoughts. Olaf deserved better. He said that in periods. He was almost at the end of the tunnel. It just shows the disregard the Empire has for everyone, regardless if you're employed by them or imprisoned.
And Dragon Boy just brought up a thought that I had too. Like, this show has now, 2 episodes in a row, you have referenced suicide.
Yep.
And euthanasia.
Yep.
And someone being hung in a square.
Yep. Nuts.
This is Disney.
No.
Like, this is on Disney.
Yeah.
This is insane. Huge. Like, I enjoy this direction.
This is
like, I'm not a fan of suicide and euthanasia, but I enjoy the dark direction that this is going, because this is like, I said it in the last episode, like, you heard about how terrible, like, the dark side's bad, but that's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know how bad they are.
Yeah, for sure. Let's keep the bad news rolling. Right? Well, you have, hold on, before I do that. Now I have 1, you have 2.
Okay.
So why don't you go first?
So I'll continue to the bad again.
Do the bad.
Again, I am referencing the ruthlessness of the Empire.
Say it.
Their torture method is child scream massacre.
In fairness, it was a sentient being, non-human.
But it was the children's scream.
Yes, it was.
Their torture method is infanticide screams.
Oh my god.
Like, and the fact that Dr. Gorst is explaining it and they were messing with the frequencies.
Yeah.
So this dude just listened to screams of sentient children screaming and said, nope, this is too much. Nope, put it down a little bit. That won't kill someone.
Yeah.
But it'll torture them enough to give us information.
Yeah. 100%.
And the whole, like, I forget, I don't know if Melshi says it or Cass says it, that, like, they're using them because they're cheaper than droids.
Cassian says that, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
but I think Melshi said it, and Cassian's repeating what he said. But yeah,
yes,
we're easier to replace. We're cheaper. We're cheaper to maintain.
Yes, it is in, and the whole cover up of who was it? Krager's pilot.
Oh yeah, at the end,
they're like, oh, we'll just like it was just an accident, and they'll be found dead in the cockpit or whatever.
Yep, we're gonna what do they say? We're gonna foul it. We're gonna foul it up.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, no. There's great imperial proceedings, and my please don't stop the music is when it's very tense, and he's putting the Bose headset on to Bix, and just like that, everything goes silent.
Yeah,
so the sound editing, and the acting from Bix, Kayleen, was phenomenal.
You just hear her like, and then see the eyebrows go. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I was going to make a meme or a GIF of her with like the headset, and then the eyes going, and then her screaming, and it says, "Are you listening to Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast?" But I thought that was like, I mean, it's a torture method, so I didn't want to be. I wanted to be sensitive.
The new Taylor Swift album.
There you go. When Uncle talks about politics at the table again. So that was an intense scene, for sure. Damien had he's highlighting Dedra. Dedra's performance over the story has been awesome. You root for her despite her allegiance at first, but she's grown into a full-on heel. She was brutal as an interrogator. Holy moly.
Boss, that's me with Boss Bitch.
Damn, yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
And I said last episode, her character is so compelling. She's like that teacher, like, so I went to Catholic school for 12 years. So she's like, yeah, you too. So she's like that nun in grade school that never needed to raise her voice, but you were scared shitless of her.
Yeah. I had one of those in high school, and we had jobs in homeroom. Like, you're sweeping for the week, and I'm like, yes, I am. You're right.
Yes, sister, I am.
Which broom? Which way? Please show. I'll do. No problem. Same vibes as the alien that Will Smith recognizes in Men in Black.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Same vibes.
And the whole conversation about, like, I forget the beginning of the conversation with her and Bix, where she, like, they cast a net and they hope.
Are you a fish or are you a thief?
You're in my net, Bix.
Oh, great line. Great line.
I mean, there haven't been many, but she is by far the best female dark side character in all of Star Wars. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, she's laying it on thick.
She is what they wanted Phasma to be.
I already forget her name from Kenobi. Exactly.
Reva.
She is what they wanted Reva to be. And it's not even close.
Reva started out strong.
She did start out strong.
When they, like, realized they needed to rewrite stuff. Got a little.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell it wasn't hidden. But no, Dedra is a fantastic. The worst thing you can do now is bore me.
You're not going to believe me anyway. I suppose not.
Nicole, to be fair, I did not steal from you. Just want to let you know that. This is our stream of consciousness as well. So we're all on the same page, babes, and I love it. I love it. Thank you.
But this brings me back up to the point that, imagine her saying this with like a Boston accent. She's not as compelling. It's the accent that makes it that much better.
No, it's good. It's good. So top threes. I mean, we did some what did we do? Olaf. We did some Dedra. We did some Imperial things. It's some lovely things in this episode. But guess what? Do you have any bottoms?
I do.
Okay. Because I was gonna say maybe we can skip it. Because I have a stupid bottom. Okay, so we're not even gonna play the music.
I have an apple bottom.
Which bottom means we're just gonna move right on to our list of grievances without an intro, because we're pressed for time.
We are pressed.
My only it's more of the sound editing, and was it necessary, or does he do this because it annoys mom? But the outrageous nature of the cereal slurping needs to go. I can't do it. I can't listen to it. It bothers me. It might be just a pet peeve of mine. Listen, I'm a milk drinker from the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I'm not a psychopath. But I do believe cereal is doing that on purpose to annoy his mom.
1000%.
Okay. But I need the sound editors just to dial it back to 7 and not 11.
Nope. 15. If you want to get the point across that you're annoying someone, you go up to 50.
As per my last cereal slurp.
It's called cleaning. You entered my private.
Also, I hated that line so bad. I hated that line. You went in my private box. I have ways of knowing.
Sounds like my OnlyFans.
He definitely pulls his hair like Sean Connery did in James Bond and puts a piece of tape over the doorway.
Oh, dude! I was at a basketball camp, and not last year, not this summer, but when I was younger, I was at this basketball camp, and we all got in trouble for sneaking out of the dorms.
Of course.
So they put tape over all of our doors.
They're not stupid.
It's like mother.
Yeah, they got you. They got you. Yeah. So my cereal slurping sound editing was my only list of grievances.
My list of my single grievous is I'm very meh on the Mon storyline.
You know what?
I feel like there's too much of just her talking to Tay about getting money and moving money in the last 3 episodes.
Nothing's happened. They're spinning their wheels right now.
It's the same conversation over and over for the past 3 episodes, I feel.
And the only thing that got me excited was how afraid she was of this thug, which is giving me Jabba the Hutt feelings.
Yes.
About it. But we could have moved that along last episode.
Agreed.
I think. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that.
But that's it. That's my only apple bottom.
Damien he listed these as bottoms, but I don't know if they're really bottoms. He just says the Empire is just brutal. We don't need Vader or the Emperor to sell the ruthlessness of the Empire.
That is a power bottom.
That's a power bottom, right?
Yeah.
I think that
generates all the power.
Yeah, it's a power. That's a thrust from the bottom, as they would say. And then I guess again, I don't know if it's a true bottom as more of it's just a comment, but the hopelessness for the prisoners. They have no way out. It's really tragic. It's not really a commentary toward the episode, but more of the themes of of the darkness of the episode.
Listen, dames, not everything could be sunshine, rainbows, and puppy kisses.
Exactly.
I wish
sometimes when you heat stuff up in the microwave and you put it in your mouth, it's cold.
Yeah. Even though the outside's hot.
The outside's hot makes no sense. Let's talk about hail for a second. Anyways, science.
Open.
Yes. So we have that. Yeah, that was our list of grievances, and I do have a fair bit of noticement, so we will play the tunes. All right, the opening music for this particular episode, I just put is a banger. Right, we briefly talked about that in the last episode. It's a good one.
The entire music,
it's good. It's good stuff. Go back and listen to the title music of each episode, and it is evolving. The rebellion is evolving. It's evolving.
Tangent right now.
Go.
I'm going to go on a tangent right now, but not even a tangent. Shot out of a cannon. Give me your top 3 musical numbers in all the Star Wars shows. Go. No particular order.
Okay, got it. Okay. Mando 1. The Andor 2.
No, like specific. Give me specific. Like my number 1 is when Boba showed up in Mando.
Oh, good one. Yes. Excellent. Great one. Great one. Okay. So you're talking about like the Mando theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely Mando theme is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Yeah, Boba's good. I didn't like the Andor opener initially, but I'm liking it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking it now. I dislike Kenobi's. I think it's too soft. I think it's
agreed.
Yeah.
I don't
remember one single musical track from the Book of Boba Fett.
I have 3 clear in my mind.
Really?
Number 1 is definitely the when Boba shows up in Mando.
Ooh.
Yeah. Number 2 is the hard drum solo at the end of, I believe it was episode 2 of Andor, when he's like walking through, he's like walking through that construction site.
I'll need to again, episode 2 one time, so I'm gonna have to re-listen.
And number 3 is probably Mando theme.
Interesting. All right, I dig it. That's cool. Tangent is closed.
Judges. Closed.
We're rocking the jug handle, and we're back on our original flight path. I like Dr. Gorst's little wave. I thought that was really funny. But what was really interesting, again, Dedra fed us a lot of information, and if you're not ready for it, you get ready for it on the second or third watching. We learned of Pax's history and how he got the radio, and he was dealing with the Separatists.
Mm-hmm.
Then we learned that Bix was the only one it was intended for, really.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is like a web of deception.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat how the Luthen's Rebellion network has been handled. At this point, Andor is picking up on patterns at the facility. We can tell that. We talked about the children and the crying and the stuff. Something that I noticed when Bix, I think, yeah, so like Bix is, I think it's post torture or it's she's being tortured, and then the door shuts, and it's this cut like in episode 4 with Leia being tortured, right? And it's like cut to the ground, and it's Boots walking, and then it like pans quickly up. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. As an Easter egg, as we just talked about how there's no Easter eggs, and that literally was an Easter egg to episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Is Andor cutting something or sharpening something?
I have that as one of my notices as well, where like that random that random prisoner that he was talking to.
Yeah.
Like I'm like it's very Shawshanky. I'm like, is he trying to cut the power to something? Is he sharpening something? Will that come back into play now that Kino is on board? Like it led to more questions than
on my third watch, that's the question I came up with is like, well, what is he doing? What's the purpose? The panel it looks obvious. It's clearly they punched it out. It's not not clean at all. Which just tells me that literally no Imperials are ever down there.
Mm-hmm.
Not one bit. So is everybody in on the sharpening?
Yeah.
Does everybody go in there and sharpen just a little bit at a time? Like what's the scope of this just yet? I bet you it gets a little bigger. In the next episode. Yeah, no, it's a good one. We switch off to like the Senate. And again, like her speaking in the Senate for me, I was like,
yeah,
that's good. But what I thought was cool was I guess when you're done, you just shut your lights off like it's Halloween. Right? Like we're out of candy. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Let me just shut lights off, and that means that I'm not in favor.
Yeah.
So like she's talking about the overreach of the Empire. It's very political. It's bringing me to prequel stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, the Senate. And on election day, go vote. And I thought that was like, it was a loss for Mon. Politically, it was a loss. Yeah. And I was like, it stinks. Like she's getting 400,000 missing. Nobody's listening to her in the Senate.
Nope.
Her husband's a creep. The daughter doesn't like her. She is not having any successes right now. And
Vel is her cousin.
Right. That was
we didn't even talk about that. I was like, whoa, what's
going on here? That was first off great, wonderful surprise, and I was like, of course she's her cousin. That makes total sense. But before we learn of the cousin, we get the intensity of the factory now. Right? This is where it starts to heat up. Now I got an interesting insight that I thought about. They're in their little, which I figured out that ingoing and outgoing is the shift change, right? You get your night shift switching, you got your day shift coming in. Power outage happens, right? And they're like, whoa, what was that? That was weird. Was that the Empire blowing a fuse when they killed everybody on floor 2?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that was weird. They probably not meant to... we got to put this up to 3 everywhere on level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then my second question, was it everybody on level 2 or just a certain room? Did they off 100 or 700?
Judging by what I've been seeing the last 2 episodes, 700.
Right. So that is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is nuts. And then what's level 2 responsible for? Are they all making the same parts? Do they have different modular parts they're working on? How do you keep things secret? Everybody works on different pieces. That's how they built the Death Star, right? You manufactured different pieces from different places. And they were relatively able to keep it a secret because no one, they would look at a piece and be like, that's kind of a common piece, but it created a hole of some sort. It's so cool to think about. What a show.
Were they using in those little hallway, little tunnel things? Were they using actual ASL, American Sign Language?
Good question. I'm not.
I like that. That's one
enough to know.
Same. I would love to know if they were using actual sign language back and forth.
It looked more. It looked less formal.
Agreed.
And even Kino was like, "You don't know what they're saying.
Yeah,
we don't hear for a while. They could be saying anything.
It takes months to get back up to us."
Exactly. So so we find out, Vel and Mon are cousins, and then Vel, what I wrote down, Vel literally steals Cinta's lines, and that's when it hit for me. She is the spoiled girl, the rich girl, and I was like, oh shit, that was awesome.
And then whatchamacallit? Mon says the same thing to Vel that Cinta says to her.
Right?
Go be a spoiled rich girl for a little bit.
Exactly. We learned that Kayleen did give up the list of supplies, right? In the Dedra report, which is awesome. In that Dedra report, it was mentioned of Maya Pei or something like that, which was, I think, a faction, one of the factions that Saul mentions. So, like, they're on to a part of a rebellion which could lead to more coming down the line. So I was like, oh boy, our girl Dedra is on to something. She's figuring it all out. A great line from Edie. Shadow of a son, a tenant, a stranger in my house. It's been months since I thought that was great.
It's like when you turn 21 and you're still living at home and you're like, you can't tell me what to do now, Mom.
Right. Exactly. Going down. Quick scene just to let us know that Bix is okay. Right? Yeah. She didn't die. She's all right. She's tough.
I appreciate that. I like seeing her face on screen.
Awkward moment between Cyril and Dedra again. Oh boy, howdy. Imagine being rejected twice in just a few months, and with reservations now. Dedra's not having it.
No, and if you watch American Beauty, you will understand my dude from American Beauty comparison for.
Okay. I got you.
For Cyril.
I got you. Then we have, I think there's a little fetish action going with Cyril, by the way. Davos Skolden, the thug, going to come back to maybe haunt Mon. Mon's going to get her hands dirty, obviously. The pilot of Anto Krieger's group captured. Again, Anto Krieger mentioned previously. Now we're starting, like, that network is starting to fill it out. They're on their way. I'm sure you picked up on it, and Damien picked up on it as well. On their way to Kafrene, right? A direct reference to a planet, the Ring of Kafrene, from Rogue One. So that's chef's kiss there. Love it. And then the Spellhaus scheme seems to be known, and that could be a turning point for the Empire in this lost rebellion, as Saul would put it. To you, Mike.
I feel like I added a lot to, like, a lot of the stuff that I saw you obviously mentioned, and I just added on to it.
Fair.
But the one thing I would like to add with that little connection between the Bix and Leia torturing is, so Leia was tortured, what, 8 years after this, after Bix had been tortured, maybe?
Yeah, good point.
So their torture methods were probably a lot worse than what they were now. And Leia didn't say shit.
Well, she had the Force, bro. It's a little bit different.
Agreed.
But no, you're 100% right. Like, the pilot gave it up very quickly. We have high confidence. Gorse did it. He's great. He's gotten his bonuses. It's wonderful. And then Leia took like 14 needles, and she's like, nah. Even Poe Dameron was out.
Yeah.
Out fast. No, that's good. I wasn't expecting that. That's actually really funny. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh, yep. Looks like noticement from Damien with the Leia scene. Yeah. Good stuff there. Okay. Final thoughts on noticements before we start to pilot this ship down?
No spank you.
No spank you. Well, then here we go. On to our one-sentence summary. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Let's do it. So Damien has a combo one-sentence summary. He threw it together.
All right.
For 8 and 9, so I'll read his first. Andor, a.k.a. Keef's fate seems bleak, but we all know he will claw his way out. Andy Serkis MCU joke. I think that's from Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clow his way out. Clow his way out. Very good. Mike, fire away. Do you have a song?
I do.
Then let me go first.
All right.
One sentence summary from me. The imps are getting closer to solving the rebel mystery while Andor plans an escape from the factory.
Ooh. And it's one sentence summary or song.
Correct.
OSS. So I thought of this morning, and it's one of those too soon to like parody this song.
Fair.
But it works so well, and I am not in an acoustic environment, and I have a sore throat for like a month, and this is in the key of Dancing on My Own.
Ooh.
Sung by Cyril. I'm at the office making false reports. Oh, I have information. I can be useful. Oh, you're giving it your all, but you can't catch Andor alone. Is sad Cyril gonna bone?
It's so good, and I wish you lived in Philadelphia to understand how great Dancing on My Own was for the city. It is at the top of my liked list on the Spotify. You hit the heart, boom, like. So it's at the top, and then the next one is like a country song that Kate likes, and then the next song is a zombie song. So like that's my range of music at this time.
So that's all. I saw a great tweet like the day after the Phillies lost. I was like, all right, now we can all stop pretending that we like this song. And
it's a good song. The original song stinks, but
by Robin?
No. His like the non-Tiesto version is very slow.
So the original song written by Robin, and that song is a banger.
Is it? I didn't listen to that.
That version's better than even the Tiesto remix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Okay. Well, there's your Caleb Scott and Robin Easter eggs for the evening.
Is that Cyril gonna bone?
I love it. Predictions time for the next episode, which is dropping in 4 hours or so. Okay, so assuming they execute an escape, how are they going to get away?
Swim.
They're in the middle of a large body of water.
And they got like those many like little waterfall whirlpools going on. Yeah.
Now, I got a thought.
Go on.
Just came to me now, and it will only make sense if you watch The Resistance. Now, I tortured myself and watched Resistance, the animated show. That facility goes down 7 levels. Is it a ship? Because in Resistance, it was called the Colossal. Doesn't sound right. I'm gonna need help in chat. But it was a water base. Then the Imperials started kind of messing with that, or the First Order started messing with them, and they launched this vertical ship up. So, like, how did they construct this? My guess is similar to the helicopter pad Avengers ship, that they are just turbines sort of waiting to be launched. Just a guess. I don't know. There's 7 of them, so it's kind of hard. If it was a single one, I would be like, that's kind of plausible. They have 7 though. It's very interesting. But how are they going to get away? Like it's like, I know they're going to get away. How are they going to get away?
I go with the KISS method to keep it simple, stupid. I think they're gonna
wait for a transport ship to come in.
Wait for a transport
hijack.
ship, steal some uniforms,
okay,
and especially after in episode 8, the way they keyed in on the boots, or they're just going to not even steal uniforms, steal boots, so they're like impervious to the tungstoid.
Yeah.
It's
it may be as simple as that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a simple way, which will work. It'll be fine. It won't make me hate it.
Fair.
But I don't think it's going to be like something elaborate. Like the whole thing is a ship.
You heard it here first on Extra SW.
You have.
The whole thing is a ship. Do we think Mon takes the meeting with the thug?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But he wants to go there. And then finally, the big one. Do we get a Palpatine sighting?
I don't think we do.
No?
No.
Not worth it?
I think by the end of this season, I think both Bix and Marva's definitely going to bite it.
Sure.
But I think Bix is going to die as well, which turns Cass to full-on rebel.
Yeah.
Like, Bix is going to die in a way like Clem, like hung in the square. And like it's going to be like, I feel like the season's going to end with like Andor going back to Ferrix and just sit like, have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
No. I hear great things.
It's pretty great. So I won't give anything away there.
That's fair. All right, I'm seeing what you're saying. Like, there's going to be external and internal motivation for him to finally join the cause for good, and he wants to cause as much damage as he can.
Yes.
To fill in his painful trauma.
Yes.
A la Cinta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you have any other predictions outside of that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, we got a lot of storylines going on. We got to see will Dedra get closer? We didn't really get an update on Cinta in this episode. We got a little update on Vel. Vel's still looking for Andor. Will she know? Will they figure out that he's at this prison? Will they help with the imprison? I don't know. There's just a lot of moving parts. Luthen is out and about right now. Does he help the escape?
Luthen
What's the next mission?
His character was so amazing the first 4 episodes, and then just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I mean he was good with Saul.
Yeah,
I thought that was really
agreed.
good. But things are in motion now, and I guess it changes up a little bit. And who the hell is Clea? We need to know. But yeah, okay. Well, as we finish up our episode, we will scoot on over to Mike's OnlyFans segment. Here we go. Fire away.
You got it. So, I'm going to dedicate this to my only fan. This Friday is my wife and our 6th anniversary. So I just want to use this OnlyFans section to send out a happy anniversary, I love you, to my OnlyFan, Marissa. She'll never hear this probably ever, but just wanted to throw that out there in the universe.
That is wonderful, and happy anniversary. I was at your wedding.
You were in my wedding.
That is also correct. I don't know if I've ever seen your wedding album, by the way.
I don't know if I've seen my wedding album.
This is fair.
It's like a glass book. It's no one's allowed to touch it. It's like somewhere. It's like in a shrine somewhere in this house.
Gosh, that's so funny. That's so funny. So let's we got some questions here. How does Luthen know so much? Giving Andor the name Clem on Aldhani was not a coincidence.
And then Nicole clarified
it. Like, listen, idiot. I thought Cassian picked Clem.
Yeah.
But then DB also wrote things like, what's the over-under on Cyril wearing a Dedra jacket at the end?
If anything, I think Dedra's going to kill Cyril.
That's correct. That is so correct. So, indeed. Well, friends, thank you for sticking with us. We've just hit probably the 56-minute mark on episode 9's discussion. So, aces, we did really good here, and we're really happy with it. So, Mike, thank you for your discussion and your work. Damien, thank you for your input from the electronics. We hope everybody feels better in the house. Everybody, this is Extra SW Star Wars Podcast, part of the Red 5 Network. Enjoy the hell out of episode 10. There are 3 episodes left as of this recording, 10, 11, and 12. It's going to be a wild ride. We'll be back live on our normal schedule, one singular episode next week. Super excited about it. Are we getting into Thanksgiving? 1, 2. Damn, it is going to be right before Thanksgiving. The final episode.
The biggest party night of the year is the last episode, right?
Yeah, Wednesday the 23rd.
Night before Thanksgiving.
That is the night before Thanksgiving.
My favorite movie.
Episode. So please enjoy the heck out of it. We really enjoy doing this for you, and we enjoy doing it for ourselves because we're archiving all of our thoughts that we'll forget tomorrow. This is Extra Star Wars. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for liking the pod, sharing it out, interacting with me on Twitter and any other short form social media in the future. And don't forget, gaming whenever is new. So go to bio.link // extra techie for all the links and all the stuff. Thank you, chat, for participating with us. We'll see you next time on the show. Goodbye.